Good morrow, Ashers! We finally got to get a look at some PvP gameplay in Ashes of Creation, with Steven sharing an unedited pre-recording as per usual of a 2v2 on the monthly stream. Super excited to finally start talking about gameplay I'll probably be doing a hell of a lot of. Let's jump straight into it since there is an incredible amount to say and I don't want this video to be forever long.
Got him!
You
Got
have
it!
power here.
The dark fire will not avail, you flammable loot!
Obviously this is a very early stages of PvP and balance, but it is good enough to get an idea of what direction the game is going into. If you like this kind of discussion content, please drop me a like and a subscribe. However, I do have a question for you. How much do you guys actually plan to PvP? Are you actively going to look for it, actively avoid it? Are you more partial to small scale or large scale fights? Let me know in the comments below.
Oh, he got me!
You guys are making me look bad. They're gonna call me a clicker and make fun of me.
Let's start by chatting about time to kill, or TTK for short. Steven and the gang did manually set their HP values to a certain amount as GM commands, so this isn't the most accurate representation of how we can expect TTK to pan out. It is also only level 10 gameplay, and since most games compound skills and stats immensely as you progress through the levels, things will change a lot as you obviously level up. That being said, the time to kill in this 2v2 fight, even at the set values, seems to be pretty right on the mark at the moment, for small scale specifically. In larger scale fights, the damage output would be much higher, so it needs to be a little bit slower in the small scale fights for the large scale to make sense. There are some ways around this by, for example, setting target caps and stuff, but I'll be chatting about this more intensely in a future video, probably very soon, so keep up to date on that by subscribing.
I can't see shit, Jimmy.
Oh god, we're back to this damnable topic again, skill effects. I feel like it's going to be near impossible to balance this out properly. It is just so messy right now. While I feel like mage skills that deal decent damage in an area can obscure your vision a bit, let's call it a feature rather than visual noise, but something like the mage's blink ability, which is purely just for mobility reasons and just a little bit of information that's required from the opponent's side, you really don't need it to obscure your entire bloody screen with a black ink of mist. It's just too noisy and too insane. Leave the damage AoEs as a obscuring effect. Hell, making dedicated obscuring effects like smoke fields from rogues or fighters being able to kick up dust or whatever is cool, but it shouldn't be this much in your face with skills that don't matter to the grand scheme of things. I've said this many times now and I'm going to keep saying it, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon. It looks cool, but visual clarity is incredibly important to me and anyone, or it should be to anyone that enjoys PvP gameplay. Imagine having these effects in 20 versus 20 fights. Just ouch, my poor eyeballs. Let's hope they find a good balance here, because it's not going to be easy with the design direction they are moving in.
Need to use a health potion.
We finally got to see someone use an actual potion in combat, which confirms that being a thing. Using a health potion in combat is an antiquated and boring design mechanic in my opinion, and it really needs to go away. Steven does this at one point during the fight, and I honestly think it is one of the aspects of old school MMOs that needs to just be abandoned, even if Ashes is inspired by those same MMOs. At least in a combat sense, these should be limited. Having a resource war in a 1v1, 2v2, or whatever the case may be, doesn't sound appealing to me, and I much rather want to have a fight where I focus on the mechanics of the fight and the fight itself, rather than the interface. there's quite a few options to allow alchemy and that kind of crafting profession to remain relevant. First of all, out of combat usage or preparation of a fight can be done by having a food or an effect that is constantly on you, or simply add a long cooldown to being able to use mana potions and heal potions. However, I want them to be on your bar and be able to hotkey them on your skill bar. I don't want to be moving to my inventory just to use a bloody health potion. That's stupid. This helps to not devalue the crafting profession and adds a bit of depth to pre-combat preparation and getting a specific idea out of your build when you're facing certain opponents. Adding a bit of strategy.
That tank is so strong. All right, we need to switch to tank. Stop looting my body.
Yes, the tank is strong. Or is it just necessary? I love this interaction. Steven insisted on requiring a tank in these small scale fights, and the moment they comp up as a tank and a mage together, they actually stood a chance. You can immediately tell that the tank is bringing useful peel and control to the fight, allowing Steven to actually deal damage and kill his opponents, and so that his mage is not actually useless. This is the kind of design I want the game to have. Archetypical roles that matter and that impacts fights in a specific yet role-based way in both PvP and PvE. It is worth noting that the CC has to kind of come down somehow. CC breaks will apparently be a thing, they did mention after the video. So even though they don't exist at level 10, being able to be stun locked, as you can see in this fight, isn't as common as it seems to be at this level. Rogues and fighters should have a lot of these, for example, so I'm hoping to see pretty slippery classes in those two archetypes. It is pretty cool to actually see the Trinity in action. That brings me to my final point, and it's an important one. Combat is thankfully really mobile, with minimal in-place lock-ins when you're casting skills. Combat feels very dynamic, which leans itself a lot to a good hybrid or action combat system. Movement is core when making a good action combat system, and I'm glad to see this is already taking shape in a very good way in Ashes of Creations, even at this early stage in Alpha. Needless to say, I am super excited for this game, and I just want to thank you guys for watching and listening to me rant and freak out about how awesome Ashes is. Have an awesome weekend, guys, and may Ashes be amazing.